Is your DJ library a total mess? You've got loads of red tracks that won't play when you try and load them to the decks. You've got duplicate tracks everywhere. You can never find what you want. You're even getting scared to play gigs because you know that you're going to be dealing with an unholy mess where it should be all tidy. If so, then watch on, because in this Tuesday live lesson from Digital DJ Tips, the world's biggest online DJ school, I, Phil Morse, will be talking you through the 6 steps that we talk our students through when they come to us at the school with exactly that problem. We're live, and I'll see you in 30 seconds when we'll get started. So if you are watching this live, you can comment, you can ask questions, you can feedback live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch. But if you're watching the recording, again, my team and I will get to you. So just comment underneath. We are here to help. It's what we do. Right, so we're talking about recovering from a messy library. You know, in our book, Rock the Dance Floor, which by the way, was released last week and was #1. It's an official Amazon #1 bestseller in new releases. There it is. Thank you to everyone who's helped us to get the 54 5-star ratings already for the book there. So thank you very, very much. Very proud of this. In the book, we talk a method for collating, building, preparing, and basically packing a great music library for any gig, right? It's a proven system that we've got. It's called the playlist pyramid. It starts with all the world's music at the bottom and ends up with just a few tracks you play in your DJ set at the top. And all the way through, it's got tactics and strategies to help you do this right. It's the way we teach it in our complete DJ course as well. And it's helped so many DJs to get this right. But the problem is you might not be starting from clean library, no music, beginner DJ. I'm going to do this perfectly right from the start. That is often not you. And what we get a lot of the time here is our DJs say to us, I know what I'm meant to do. I've read the chapter in the book. I've watched the lessons in the course, but that's not me. I've got a library that I'm using at the moment that's a total mess. It's full of all my music from my going back years that I didn't know how to collect. I've moved from computer to computer. I'm using some on an external drive. I've moved different softwares. And look, it is a real problem if that's you, because you're not starting from just a lovely place where everything can be done right in the beginning. And in truth, you know, we spend a lot of time in our complete DJ course and in our forums talking to DJs and helping them individually to sort this stuff out, because each person's different. However, look, if you're scared of playing your gigs, you can't find the tracks in your software, you've got duplicates, you do need to fix it. You do have a lot in common with all these other people suffering the same problem, right? So yes, it's hard to give advice which is going to work for everyone all the time. But what I'm going to share with you now are in fact, I've got 7 things, the 7 things that we share with most people most of the time that tend to help. So this is not going to be for you if you're already organized. There's going to be some advice I give here that you might not agree with if you're already organized, if you're using cloud or you're happily using an external drive for all your music and all this stuff. But you don't need my help. If you're doing those things, by definition, you're on top of it. You've got this figured out. The advice I'm going to give here is the more general beginner advice we give to most people, which helps most of them most of the time to get to where they need to be. You know, before we get started on the 7 things, the biggest problem that most people don't understand that causes these problems, it's at the root of all of this, is they don't understand the difference between an actual file on their hard drive and a listing for that file in a piece of software. Whether that software is iTunes, which people always used to use, now called Music, or whether that software is their DJ software. They don't understand how many actual copies of that song are on their hard drive. If you move it into your DJ software, does it move it from where it was originally, or does it copy it? Does that mean there's 2 or 1 copy? What about iTunes? And so this stuff's fine as long as it works. you don't happen to know what's going on under the bonnet of your car, if you're anything like me. But that's fine as long as it works. As soon as you've got problems, it really does pay to know a little bit about this. So before we get started, the one piece of advice I would give you is try and understand the very basics of how files work in your operating system, where they're kept, and what happens when you move or copy them. Once you figure that out, and that can be any file, could be word processor files, could be music, could be photos. Once you figure that out, you're going to find all of this so much easier. So let's get started. Now, the first one of our 7 tips is to back everything up first. Get yourself a nice big hard drive that's big enough to back up your laptop and get everything onto it. Now, how you do it depends upon Apple or Windows, depends upon how you might already do it, which is great. But don't do any of this stuff until you've backed up, because then at least all is not lost if it all goes horribly wrong. My second piece of advice when it comes to fixing a horribly messy music library is it starts here. It doesn't start on the laptop. It doesn't start when you start moving files and stuff. It starts here when you say to yourself, what am I going to do here and why? So write it down. Grab a pen and paper, a nice big piece of paper and a pen, and write down what you're going to do and why. And then as you do that, you will find that before you finish writing down what you're going to do and why you're going to do it, you're already thinking about things that you really ought to figure out before you get started, and thinking about whether you're doing these things in the right order and so on. Planning out on paper as best you can what you're going to do is really important. And then as soon as you start doing things, put that bit of paper to one side, get a fresh piece of paper, and every time you do something, every time you move a batch of files, every time you delete something, whatever, write it down. And then you've got a trail that you can work back through. And if you get confused later on, or you have to stop and go and do something else and come back, you can get yourself up to speed with where you're at. Anything that involves multiple steps on computers, I've always written it down, and it's always served me well. And by the way, this isn't in the 7 tips, but another tip: if you're getting frustrated, you can feel yourself getting hot under the collar, you can feel yourself getting irritable, you can feel yourself wanting to shout at someone, stop and walk away. Go for a walk around the block and come back. Many a computer coder will tell you that problems get solved as soon as they walk away, and when they get back, it's not so bad. So write stuff down and take it slowly, right? Don't rush at it. Don't do things when you're getting flustered. Just walk away and make sure each step is considered. Right, so that's our first 2 points. Our third point then, find where every track is actually on your computer hard drive. And when you know where the tracks actually are, put one copy of each track in a master folder, which is going to be your DJ library from now on. Now, if you've already got one, that's great. Just make sure you've only got one copy of each track in your master folder. But as you look around your computer, one of the problems people have is they have lots of copies of tracks, and then they move things around and their DJ software gets confused. So not only will you get duplicates in your DJ software, but you might get tracks which, when you try and load them, don't show. Like, these two things can happen at the same time. So finding out and getting a master folder with at least you know you've got one copy of everything is a really good idea. I'm a big fan, and you'll read about it in the book, by the way. I'm a big fan of having just a flat structure with everything in one folder. You can do all the organizing in your DJ software. I'm not going to go into too many specifics now, but knowing where you've got one copy of everything is really, really important. Now, when it comes to doing that in your DJ software, it depends upon the software. So in most software, this is Tractor, you can right click on a track and you can go to Show in Finder, and it will open a window and show you that where the actual track is there. And if you've got multiple copies of tracks, well, you can go and look at multiple copies, and it will either say can't find, so now you know that that is an orphaned reference in your software, or you'll see that actually you've managed to get it in all kinds of places. So decide what your master is, and the other ones you're not going to need, you can safely get rid of. We want to get to the point where there's only one copy of every track. So let's look at some other software while we're here. In Serato, you press the Command and R key from memory. Command and R on the keyboard. Let's see if I've got that one right. Command and R. Yep, there you go. It's opened and shown me that track in there. You can't right click in Serato, it doesn't work that way. And then I've also got Record Box here. I think with Record Box, you can just right click on a track and go to show in Finder. There we go, and it will show it in the Finder there. So this is how to locate the actual tracks from your library in your DJ software. It's going to take a while, but you're going to go through and you're going to make sure you've only got one copy of every track you want to keep in one folder, whether it's in a folder where you already keep music or a nice fresh new one that you're going to use. Right, so at this stage, and remember this is general advice for most people most of the time. I'm not able to analyze everything about your particular collection, and you might need to adapt this advice to deal with where you find yourself at in this, but these are general things that help most people. So we've backed up our computer, we're writing down everything we're planning on doing and everything we're doing, and we're finding the copy we want to keep. As I say, it might already be in a folder that you're happy with, but in that case we'll find all the other copies and get rid of them. How does that happen, by the way? How do you get multiple copies? It's really easy. Because you might download stuff to your downloads folder when you buy stuff on Beatport or wherever. You might have download managers with various stores which download it. You might be using other ways of getting tunes, getting them from email and so on, so they're on your desktop. You might have a music folder. You might have a music folder that you use on a hard drive once that you've copied into your main computer because you didn't want to use a hard drive anymore. You might have a music folder and a My Music folder by mistake with different tunes in. And you might have moved stuff in and out of iTunes, or Music as it's now called. iTunes has got an option to either copy or move. You might not even have known that existed. So now you've got a copy inside and outside iTunes. The second you take any of those tunes and put them into your DJ software, it puts a listing in the DJ software. Even if it's already seen that tune 5 or 6 times before, if it's in a different place, it'll put a different listing in your DJ software. And this is how it happens. And when you go to clean up your computer away from your DJ software and you go into your downloads folder and say, oh, I've moved all that into iTunes, I don't need that anymore, and you delete it, that's when you start to get references in your software that won't play, right? So this is how it happens. It's normal. Happens to the best of people. Right, so we've done those first 3 things. Back up, write everything down, got a master version of each track in the place that our DJ software ideally wants to find it. So next, we're going to if we've got anything on external drives, and we've been using those for most DJs most of the time, this is the advice we give. Try and keep it all on one computer, on one laptop, on the same laptop your DJ software is on. There shouldn't be any need to have an external drive for your music. Now, this is where some DJs will say, but I always use an external drive because of this and this and this. That's great. As I said at the beginning, if that's you, you know what you're doing. But for most people, most of the time, having it on the same computer the DJ software on is best, because DJ software, whisper it, is not very good. It doesn't cope very well with having a library of stuff all over the place. So I don't know about you, but our family's photos, I can get them on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer. If I want to dial up a photo of my son on his bike in 2014, I can find it on that computer now, even though I've never done it on that computer. The way photos are handled by our operating systems and our phones and by Macs and Android and Windows, etc., is generally very good. But DJ software isn't up there with your photo software, or pretty much any other kinds of software, to be honest. It's a bit backwards when it comes to this kind of thing. DJ software, by and large, likes to have one collection of music on one computer for one copy of the DJ software. So do yourself a favor and get to that stage. It's easier that way. And again, yes, there are cloud solutions. There are ways of having your library in the cloud. But if you're going to use those, you better know all this stuff I'm talking about anyway. I'm not aiming this at you. I'm aiming this at the people who really are tearing their hair out because they've got their DJ laptop and it ain't playing ball, right? So another way of looking at it is, it's better to get to what I'm talking about. And then if you want to start using these cool new cloud systems, well, that's the time to turn them on, not when your library is in a total mess. Because, all right, so we're going to try and get everything on our internal drive. No external drives. They're not good for you. So number 5, when we've done that, when we've got all our music nicely in one master folder where our software has generally been looking for the music, we've got rid of all our duplicates, we've gone through all the downloads folders and desktops and hidden places on our hard drives, we've got anything off external drives, which we've now got rid of. At this point, we can run our relocate lost files on our computer, and it can look for anything that it can't find, and you can point it at the folder that you now using as your master folder. Now, relocate lost files is different for all software, but all software has this process. So the best way to do that is to go and look at the instructions for your software. If you use Traktor, Rekordbox or Serato, we have our courses, Traktor, Rekordbox and Serato Made Easy. And we go into detail on how to do that in the course. But you don't need to go and buy my course to do that. Just go and look in your instructions as to how to relocate lost files. Now at this point, we've got, let's recap. We've now got all our music in a place where we're happy. We've hopefully only got one copy of everything as an actual file. We've now got rid of duplicates and stuff. We've now looked through our computer, so we're pretty sure that it's all tidy on the computer. And we've run a relocate lost files against our computer in order that the computer can now find anything it couldn't find. Your DJ library might still be a bit of a mess because it might still have lots of files in there that either it can't find because they're duplicates that you've got rid of, or, and this is another thing I would encourage you to do, while you're doing this, get rid of stuff you don't want. Just get rid of it. You'll be doing it anyway. You'll be saying, what on earth have I got that there for? And you'll be throwing stuff away. So your library is going to need a bit of cleaning up at this point, and it's just going to really be deleting. You're going to be deleting stuff it can't find or stuff you don't want. And at this point, your computer's library, your library inside your software, will hopefully be reflecting everything you want to keep and everything it knows you've got, right? You can then, at that point, look for any gaps in your metadata. So metadata is, of course, the song name, the artist. If you use artwork, it'll be the artwork. I don't use artwork. This is artwork that's come in with these files, but personally, I never use this, which is why it's turned off. But artwork, anything that you habitually use, you'll be adding back. And this is where the book will help you, because you can read our book on the website, digitaldjtips.com. And click book at the top because there's a whole chapter in the book that will help you to organize your music, right? But what we've done here is get to the point where this is useful because we've helped you to organize it and kind of sort out the mess. So that's the 7th point here, is to sort out the mess. And then you can start organizing your music properly by putting it into crates and playlists and getting search working and getting used to the way all that works. And at this point, when you get to your gig, you'll have just one copy of everything. It'll find it every time. When you click search, you'll get tracks that you actually want to play coming up, etc., etc. Problem solved. Now, I have made it sound a little bit easier than it can be. That's because all of your different stages of being in a mess are different per person, and also the reasons you got in that mess will be different per person, which is why I encourage you to ask for help if you need it. If you're a course owner, just ask for help in the course, of course. That's what my team and I do. We help you individually. But you can also use our Global DJ Network Facebook group to ask questions about this as well, or just ask underneath this video wherever you're watching it, and we will help you. But we've run through then here our 7 ways for most people, most of the time, to organize your DJ library if it's a mess. Back everything up first, write down what you plan to do and what you actually do, find where each track actually is and get one copy into a master folder. Get anything off external drives and into the same laptop that your DJ software runs on. It's just simpler that way. Run Relocate DJ software so it can find anything now that it needs that it couldn't find before. Then delete unwanted tracks on your DJ software, and at the same time delete any tracks that you really can't find that have been lost for God knows how long. And then you're ready to go. You can tidy up your metadata, you can add your artwork and get your collection something that you can be really proud of. I didn't say this again, but I will say it now. When you finish, go back everything up again. Get a nice clean backup. That way you are now safe should anything happen to that laptop. That's all I've got for you today, but I'm not going away because I'm going to talk to you about your challenges, your disaster stories. I'm sure someone's going to share a disaster story or two here, and anything else that you want to talk about around clearing up messy music libraries. So that's what we're going to do for the last 10 minutes here, as we do every week. So hello everyone. Hello to Easy DJ. Hello to David. Lots of you saying, oh, well, this piece of software has got this and this piece of software has got that. Yeah, there's cloud library everywhere. There's all kinds of external drive stuff everywhere. There's all this. We're keeping it simple here today. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Manu. Hi, Isomatic. Hello to Kesha, as always, and Catherine, Mixmaster, John Roback. Nice to see you, John. Hello, Dutch Delinquent, and Craig, and the Ruckus. Right, so we're talking music libraries here. Anyone got any extra tips to share? Oh, just a question that's nothing to do with our music libraries about this. When's it coming to audiobook? We've just booked the studio time now. It's after the summer. So I'll be recording this in the autumn and then it will be on audiobook. Thank you for asking, Cabes. So Messy Library says easy DJ. I've got 7,000 plus drum and bass tunes in 7 folders. It's a proper mess. Well, look. Admitting it is the first part of dealing with it, so well done for admitting it there, Easy DJ. I treat files like vinyl, I just throw more and more in the bag, says Easy DJ. No, but you never treated vinyl like that because you only had 2 shoulders and you could only carry a certain amount. So whether you say it or not, you were careful with your vinyl. Anyway, thank you. Hello, Philip. Hello to Kings and Queens, who says salute. Salute to you as well. So duplicates seem to be the thing. Many duplicates. I probably have 2 or 3 of everything, says Easy DJ again there. So thank you for that. The root of it is I'm very lazy. A couple of you are saying you're lazy. Yeah, you know, but the thing is, a little bit of work now is really going to sort stuff out. My stuff's all sorted, says AD Foster. It is in folders, but I could be more organized. However, that's, again, part of fixing it is admitting that it's there. My backups are bigger than they should be. Well, at least you're backing up. Thank you for that. Aaron says organisation becomes a serious headache when you work with both Rekordbox and Engine databases. It does indeed. You know, one thing about modern DJ gear is it's great, but it hasn't made anything simpler. A few of you saying backing up to the cloud is a good idea. Yeah, there's the old 3-2-1 backup method, isn't there? So I think whenever I try and remember how this goes, I get it slightly wrong, but then I also realise that that's the way I've always done it. So I think it's 3 separate backups in 2 physical places with one. This is the one I always forget. But anyway, stick one in the cloud, have one on your laptop, have one in the wardrobe on an external drive when you've done it all. I use Lexicon for cleaning up my collection, says JD Vasquez. Yeah, I've heard a few people saying Lexicon is a good tool for this, so thank you for sharing that. On Mac OS, carbon copy cloner to an external drive is the only valid backup, says Mixmaster G. Well, in some ways I agree with you. However, I think backing up your database from your DJ software and your tunes is a good start. But thank you for that. I did try and do this, says Catherine Catsgroove, but it all went horribly wrong. I feel for you. I really feel for you. I've done it. I've been there. It's horrible when it goes wrong. David says MediaMonkey 5, which is a organization tool for music on Windows. MediaMonkey 5 is the best thing I've used in 20 years. It's transformed my music library. It fixes everything and it backs up and it gets rid of underscores and it puts genres in folders and it's fire. Thank you very much for sharing that. Philip is agreeing with Mixmaster G that carbon copy cloner for Mac OS is the way forward. Catherine says, I know it all went wrong, but at least I backed up 3 times before I started. So thanks for that. So Mike says, can you use songs from your external drive only, or do you need to have them on the internal drive? This is where it gets complicated, too complicated for this show. The bottom line is that some DJ software is better than other at dealing with an external drive. It's getting better. Virtual DJ has just made it a lot easier. Even Serato made it a bit easier a while back. But I would say keep it all internally if you want to avoid problems. That's my personal advice to most people most of the time. 3 copies on 2 different kinds of media and keep one of them off site. Thank you, Philip, for putting me right on that. Yeah, so the 3-2-1 backup rule is 3 copies in total, 2 on different kinds of media and 1 off-site. So my idea of having 1 on the computer, 1 in the wardrobe on an external hard drive and 1 in the cloud, I think probably ticks those boxes. So thank you for that. You Don't Like My Music says, I have a pretty big library with a few thousand tracks, but after I sort by genre, BPM and key, the good options for the next track always present themselves. There you go, you see, you've got your library organized, you've got all your genres right, you've got all your keys analyzed, you've got your BPMs, you're good to go. And that's where we're trying to get to here as well. I maintain 2 backups, says the Ruckus, an external drive and a thumb drive, which also includes my software backups. So thank you for that. Aaron says Beatport is my master backup. I could always download everything again. Of course, I have them saved on an external drive too, but that is secondary. Personally, I wouldn't rely on a commercial service to let me have my tracks again should I lose them all, and that assumes you buy them all from the same place. I'm sure you don't get all your music from there, right, Aaron? Anyway, you do a backup anyway, so you're cool, you're good to go. M System says, I received your new book in paperback about half an hour ago. I'm looking forward to the read. Thank you, Phil. Oh, thank you very much. Please do leave us a review on Amazon if you can get time. It really does help. Craig says, good to watch live for the first time in ages. Hello, Craig, over on Facebook. Hello to Phil and the team. Hello to you as well. So Mixmaster G says you can drag and drop from most DJ software to a folder and it will copy the audio file to that folder. Yes, it will as well. I'm a big fan of drag and dropping to do that. So thank you for sharing that with us here. There's hope for everyone, says V. Yes, there is hope for everyone. I think that's what you're saying. Anyway, we're doing well. We're doing well anyway, V. Thank you for asking. Right, so seeing the community of over 200 people in this live and all the comments and all the interactions, says Manu, says we ain't going to be replaced by AI anytime soon. Let's go and keep being creative. I love it. Of course we're not. I always tell people we ain't going to be replaced by AI, but we might be replaced by another DJ who's figured out how to use AI better than we have. So look, come on, let's not be scared of it. Let's figure out how to use it. Right, so I found a setup that works really well for me, says Apostolis. I use a piece of software called SyncThing to sync my DJ laptop to an external drive on a separate computer. Then that drive is backed up to the cloud. Whatever happens, everything is recoverable. That's brilliant. Mixmaster G says, I'm the expert on this stuff and I fully agree with Phil. One computer has the main collection. From there on, there are many methods of using it on many computers. Thank you, Mixmaster G. I know we don't always agree on everything, and you're normally right in those instances, but thank you for that. Benny says, I really need to get my stuff together. Well, as we say, admitting it is the first part of dealing with it, Benny. We're with you to help, and you know we're with you to help, Benny, because you're one of our best students, so we're with you all the way. Mike says, thank you, Phil. Actually, you've just answered my question, so no need to do that. I use OneDrive on Windows to back up my collection. It's very reliable, says Brian. Thank you, Brian. And David has told us about 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 times that MediaMonkey 5 has a cloud. Thank you, David, but once would really have done there. Hello, Phil, says Lou. Hello to you, Lou. It's so annoying, says V. I had 1 terabyte's worth of rock, retro and metal on the laptop. It crashed shortly after my backup hard drive also crashed. And so I lost it. So sorry to hear that, V. There is a good example of what happens if you're not making backups. Benny says, is it wise to do a fresh start, like erase the folders in your DJ software and then start again? I generally think it isn't. I mean, it might be tempting to do that, but the problem is if you don't know how it all went wrong, you're just going to end up in the same situation again down the line. It's generally possible to recover even the messiest DJ collection with a little bit of work if you follow what we talked about here. And that way you will learn along the line where you went wrong. You'll kind of go backwards on some of the things where you went in the wrong direction. And you can end up at the same place, but you've learned. So it won't happen again. But at the same time, you haven't lost all that history, all those cue points, all those loops, all the stuff you did in your DJ software. A lot of it will still be there because hopefully the bulk of the collection was actually, when you looked at it, was all right. It's just that it was being obscured by all the mess, right? It's like if you've got kids, right? You go into one of your kids' bedrooms and it's like literally, if someone had come and burgled this room, it would actually be tidier than it is now. I'm sure you've been there, right? I'm thinking about my 12-year-old daughter now. The best way to tidy that up is to tidy it up. It's not to take everything out. Like, it's not to take the bed out and the wardrobe out and take the carpets up and the curtains down and then start moving it all back in. You don't need to go that far, right? You just need to take a deep breath and sort the mess out. So I think that's probably generally the best way of going about it. So Andrew says, keep in mind that with Serato to keep your library directory with the tracks that you have the beat grid. Yeah, exactly. So Andrew's saying, if you started again, you'd lose your beat grid, you'd lose your cue points and all that stuff as well. So as an open format DJ, says Ryan, and a former radio DJ, I arrange my library by year, then genre. There may be doubles for some crates, but it works really well for me. Yeah, that's okay. If it works for you, it works for you. I think organizing away from your DJ software where you're literally duplicating the file to put it in different places, it really isn't necessary. I have told DJs all the way through my career as a teacher, stick it all in one folder and don't worry about it. One thing that I will sometimes concede to DJs is putting it in year folders. So you've got one folder called DJ Music and you have a folder called 2024, right? And every track you buy this year or get this year goes in there. And then in 2025, next year on the 1st of January, you put a new folder in called 2025, and every track you get that year goes in there. That is, I can see why you might do that, right? Because if you do have to look through your music away from the DJ laptop, then you've got year folders. But even that's not very necessary. However, I do see the attraction of that. And the only reason I say that is we do that in our business. You know, we make loads of videos, and sometimes you want to go and find something away from YouTube or away from our course, system. You just want to go and find something, and you think, I did that in NAMM 2020, didn't I? Well, bang, I can go to the 2020 folder and there it is. I do see the attraction of that. There's something about starting a fresh folder at the beginning of every year as well. So anyway, I'll let you have that one. But generally, no need to organize outside of your DJ software very much. Philip says, tip for getting started on cleaning up your DJ library, sort by play count and get rid of at least half of the tracks that you've never played. That should be easy. I love it, Philip. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Right. I do an autumn clean out, says William, when the season is over. If you eliminate a track by mistake, you can always get it back, go and repurchase it or whatever. You know, I'm with you there. I think if you haven't played a track in the last year and you don't think you're going to play it in the next year, get rid of it. You could always stick it on a hard drive up in the top of your wardrobe or whatever if you really don't want it. But there's no point having that hanging around your collection. It's clogging up your search results. It's taking up space on your hard drive. It's clogging up your thinking when you look through your music. Only keep the tools you actually use in your DJing. We're not record collectors here. We're DJs doing a job with the tools for the job right here, right now. So I'm with you there on that one, William. DJ Young Shaky, if I have all my tracks in one location, after I download some extra tracks and move them to the second location, will Serato pick them up without a copy and paste? No, it won't. It's a good question, that. But what you can do is go into that folder and click date added, and then just click the ones you added today, drag them into Serato, done. Serato does have some kind of hidden method of adding tracks automatically, but I can't go into that here, but that's the way I always do it anyway. You can't add tracks again, by the way. So, you know, you don't have to even do that. You can just drag them all in, but it'll just take longer to check them all. But it won't add a track again that's in the same place. It'll just ignore it. So Michael says, Michele says, I'm so happy I'm taking this class. It's good to have you here, Michele, as well. Also says, my library is a wreck and I'm currently working on it. A few of you saying, we agree, don't use external drives. Most of the time, for most people, that's the best advice, honestly. I love smart playlists, says Brian. I have a smart playlist that gives me stuff close by in BPM on my whole collection. Lets me play fluid sets between genres. I love it. USB cables are the worst when you've got external drives. Loose connection destroyed my drive, says Florida Man. So there we go. Another argument there for not using external drives. Right, I think there's lots of people who've got lots more comments which I haven't had time to get to. But look, thank you very much. We've obviously touched a nerve with this one, judging by how busy it is in the comments. If you're watching the recording, then just ask underneath if you've got any specific questions you need help with. I recommend you head over to our Global DJ Network Facebook group, Global DJ Network. Join it if you're not a member. It's where we help people who are not our course owners with problems like this. If you are a course owner, of course, just head into your course, find the lesson about this, and we'll help you there. And if you want to read about all of this, it's in our new book, Rock the Dance Floor, 2nd edition, out now. Amazon bestseller official. It says it on the site. We've done it. Thank you so much, people. We are officially an Amazon #1 and we couldn't be happier. So thank you very much, people, for that. I'm trying to show you the Amazon #1 thing there, but of course it all went wrong. All went wrong as I was dragging and dropping with my fingers. But anyway, we went to #1 in 17 countries, and that was really good. So thank you everyone who helped us to do that. Right, I'm out of here. I'm back here on Thursday for students. If you're a student, head to the Student Live virtual classroom session, same time on Thursday. If you're not a student, I'm back next week on both Tuesday and Thursday at this time, 4 p.m. London, 11 a.m. Eastern. So until then, get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.